Hare Krishna. So in chapter 8 that we started last week, right? So we saw that Krishna answers Arjuna's questions. The 8 questions that Arjuna has asked in 8th chapter, that has been answered in text 1 to 4. In verse 1 to 4, Krishna answers Arjuna's first 7 questions. And the remaining 1 question is being answered in these texts 5 to 9. Answer this 8th question. Lord describes that how whatever one thinks at the time of death, that becomes the determining factor for one's graduation in a particular living entity species. Or if somebody thinks about Krishna, then he will return to back to Krishna at the time of death. So if somebody remembers Krishna at the time of death, he will return home back to us. So then we see Krishna concludes that tasmat sarveshu kaleshu pamanushma yuddhacha. So that's why Arjuna, in every situation, you should always remember me, Mamanusmara. You should think about me, and at the same time, you should fight. Then, from text 10 till 13, we discussed that how a yogi can also attain Krishna by uttering Omkar, thinking about Krishna at the time of death. Yoga Mishra Bhakti is described, and now we are going to begin with pure devotion service, which is mentioned in 8th chapter 14, 15, 16. There's 3 slokas, pure devotion service mentioned. So, and then other 2 more sections comparing the material and spiritual worlds, and the supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. So these are all things we like to cover today. So, are you able to see my slide? I mean, my screen, vedabase.io, or
Ye- Yes, bro.
okay. So, same format we shall follow. I'll just send the sloka, then translation, then one of you can read the purport. अनन्यचेताः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः. Okay, Nishank Guru.
Translation. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service, purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. Previous verses have mentioned 4 kinds of devotees: the distressed, the injured, those material primitive philosophers. Different processes of liberation has also been described: karma yoga, jnana yoga, hatha yoga. The principles of these yoga systems have some bhakti added, but this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti yoga, without any mixture of jnana, karma, or hatha, as indicated by the word ananya cheta. In pure bhakti yoga, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. A pure devotee does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, nor does he seek oneness with the Brahma Jyoti, or salvation or liberation from material entanglement. Pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Nishkam, which means that he has no desire for self-interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to them who strive for personal gain. Whereas a Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi, or a Hatha Yogi has his own selfish interests. A perfect devotee has no desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to Him, He is easy to attain. A pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna. In one of his various personal features, Krishna has various plenary expansions and incarnations, such as Ram, Narsimha, and a devotee can choose to fix his mind in loving service to any of these transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee meets with none of the problems that plague the practitioners of other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. The Lord is merciful to all, but as we have already explained, He is especially inclined towards those who always serve Him without deviation. The Lord helps such devotees in various ways. As stated in the Vedas, Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, Yam evisya vrunte tena labhyas tasya atma vivar, vivarnate tanum swam. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as He is. And as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 10 chapter 10 sloka, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. The Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain Him in His spiritual kingdom. The special qualification of a pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and anytime, at any time. Some say that devotees should remain in holy places like Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lives. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavan, as indicated by the words Satatam and Nistyasa, which means always, always, regularly, or every day. A pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of pure devotee, for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is the system that the Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti yogis are engaged in five different ways. Santa Bhakta, engaged in devotional service or in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta, engaged in devotional service as servant. Sakhya Bhakta, engaged as friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as parent. Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and uh, and cannot forget the Supreme Lord. And so for him the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment. And similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessing of the Krishna conscious person process of chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, bro. So, very beautiful sloka and very, very important sloka. So, we see Ananya Cheta Satatam. Ananya Cheta means not thinking of anything else uh, other than Krishna. Ananya Cheta means only Krishna. Then, how long and when? For the time Satatam, it qualifies. Satatam means always. So, Satatam could mean either every day, regularly, and Satatam could also means every moment, right? As mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada. Satatam indicated the word Satatam Nityasa, which means always, regularly, or every day. So, if somebody want to do devotion service regularly, Satatam means he can qualify in two levels. First level is that we do that every day, right? Like we chant this prayer, na Nashtaprayesu abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. So Nityam Bhagavata Seva also one mean that every day we chant this Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day we recite and hear lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam. And the higher level of this Satatam and Nityasaha is to do it every moment, right? So every moment. That is actually the perfection. Ananya Cheta Satatam. Yomam Smarati Nityasaha. Whoever remembers me Nityasaha. Again Nityasaha. So we see uh, Lord is qualifying his remembrance many, many times. The first here told Satatam, that means already it is always. Then again he is telling Nityasaha means regularly. So Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. So for those who are always and regularly remembering Lord, Ananya Cheta, and only the Lord, not anybody else. For them, Krishna is Sulabha, very easy to achieve. Not only very easy to achieve, but he is right there with him, right? He is staying with Krishna, right? Somebody thinks about Krishna means he is staying with Krishna. So where to get the pramana of this? We need to go to 12th chapter. If you go to 12th chapter, same thing is mentioned there. So I'll just give you the 12th chapter reference, Bhagavad Gita, same Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter. If you go to 12th chapter, we go here, 12th chapter, like suppose I'm just opening another tab. Where the I start, are you? Going to 12th chapter. Devotional service. So, 12th chapter, text 8. Can you read text 8? 12th chapter, text 8. This is the sloka. What Lord is telling? Maye vaman adatsa mayi buddhim niveshaya. Nivesh says, see maye vam ata urdumna satsaya. So, Lord is telling that just fix your mind upon me. The same thing what Lord has told in 8th chapter. Maye what he's telling in Lord Anna Chaita Manaso. So just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always. Yes, without a doubt. So somebody who is thinking about Krishna in every moment is always Krishna conscious. In every situation, he is with Krishna. So he's already with Krishna, right? So that's the point. In that chapter, we are able to see that here Lord is telling that for him, Tasyaham Sulabha Partha, for those devotees, Lord is very, very easily achievable. Okay? And not otherwise. Not by karma, jnana, uh, or hatha, only by devotional service. And that devotional service should be pure devotional service, where pure devotee is always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or the place. There shouldn't be no impediments. But we see impediments. Sometimes devotees say that, Prabhuji, I have so many problems. I didn't get this particular position in my company. When I will get this position in the company, then I will be able to perform devotion service. So what type of devotion service is that? Is that devotion service pure devotion service? Yes, Prabhu.
No,
No,
Why?
Prabhu. There
Why
is
not?
some condition behind that.
because
Yes, yes. Please raise your hand and you can tell. Yes, anybody else like to contribute in the discussion? Why it's not pure devotion service?
it is dependent on time, place, circumstance.
Yes, correct. So there is impediment, Vyavadhan. It's a Vyavadhan coming. So, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj describes that 81 type of Vyavadhan may come, like those devotees in different modes, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and different type of different type of aspirations by performing devotional service. So in mode of ignorance, somebody may be thinking by chanting they will able to kill someone, no hinsa. They are even envious to someone. They may do devotional service for their own ahankar, pride. uh, so these are all like anya avilas. So because of this, he's not able to think about Krishna, right? Even though he's chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but he's thinking about his own self. He's not thinking about Krishna. Then somebody in mode of passion and he's doing devotion service. Then he may be doing devotion service for material pleasure or else for his own name and fame. So like that, or maybe material opulences to get. So while chanting Hare Krishna, he might not be able to think about the Lord. He's not being taking shelter of the Lord. So because he's not doing for the pleasure of the Lord, he's doing for his own self. And similarly, in mode of goodness, he devotee is somebody in mode of goodness and he perform devotion service. And his devotion service also will be impaired because he would be doing for the sake of getting some material problems. I mean, the reactions of previous lives get burned away by performance devotion. The thing like that. So by chanting the holy name, all my I'll get purified. I'll get purified. Doing devotion service for purification. So this the mindset of getting purified is not completely perfect. This is itself is a vyavadhan. This is vyavadhan, right? So so because of this vyavadhan, devotees are not able to think about the Lord, and that's why they are not performing pure devotional service. But pure devotional service itself does not necessitates the qualification that somebody has to come to the platform of he become pure devotee, then he will do pure devotional service. It's not like that. Anybody can do the pure devotional service. Just we have to do the devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. That's what Prabhupada is telling here. You have to perform pure devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. And in this particular purpose only, just because I have opened this vedabase.io, my Vedabase in laptop got somehow uninstalled and it was not working, so I had to uninstall it. So otherwise I would have bold marked that. So you see, self-interest. Pure devotee does not desire anything. They desire the pleasure of the Lord. Yes, here. The perfect devotee has no desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in every activity they act so that Lord is pleased. Therefore, the Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to Him, it's easy to attain Him. So any type of no situation comes into their life, they can never forget Krishna. And being in that situation, actually, they are qualifying the test of pure devotion service. And what is the test of pure devotion service mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, 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 Smaranam. He thinks about Krishna. Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. So he's doing Navida Bhakti, one of the most important, most important of Navida Bhakti. Smaranam he's always doing, right? He suppose he's not able to uh, get to some material position. We always think about Krishna or a spiritual position. We always think about Krishna. So like this, he's always with Krishna. According to 12th chapter, it's Sloka Visa. He's always with Krishna and nothing to achieve. He's already achieved Krishna. So text 15. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः. Translation. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport. So this is 12, sorry, 8.15. Purport. You can sound it.
Since this temporary material world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, Naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Golok Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Paramagati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls.
Yeah, very nice, bro. So, Srila Prabhupada is telling that these Mahatmas, they attain to that Paramam Gati. And that the Paramam Gati is not just a physical destination to attain, like in the spiritual world. They have attained the Paramam Gati right there in this life, right? Mamupetta, because they have achieved. Mamupetta Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Napnuvanti Mahatmana Sunsiddhim Paramam Gata. They have attained the Sunsiddhim, perfection. uh, So, what is the perfection? Srila Prabhupada is writing here. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. If this is there, then they're quite well happy, even though physically they are seemingly present in material world, still they are happy with that. They don't want to return even to spiritual world, nor do they want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. And Srimad Bhagavatam is filled up with such great stories of Mahatmas, different Mahatmas. Could you tell anyone of you, any one of the Mahatmas' name who had prayed to the Lord as such? Hmm. Okay,
Prahlad
not
Maharaj.
yes, Prahlad Maharaj, exactly. Prahlad Maharaj is praying the same way. Thank you so much. Prahlad Maharaj is telling that, oh Lord, I don't want to return alone. I want to take these all fools and rascals who are averse from your service. I want to take them along with me. So that's what I want to serve my spiritual master Narad Muni to preach the holy name and devotion service. Exactly correct. Then we see Chitraketu Maharaj, who tells in his body of Vritrasura that, oh Lord, life after life, I just want to serve you. He tells that Apunar Bhavam Samanjasatva Virahaya Kangshe Anaka Prishtam Nachaparamishtam Nasarvabhaumam Na Rasadhipatyam Na Yoga Siddhir Apunar Bhavam Va Samanjasatva Virahaya Kangshe. Oh Lord, I don't want the Dhruva planet, Nakpishtam. Napcha Paramishtam. Neither I want to get to Swargloka, the highest Swargloka, that is Brahmaloka, Paramishtam. Na Rasadhipatyam. Neither I want the hellish planet, the Swarga, the Bila Swarga, Rasatal Loka, Rasadhipatyam. Na Yoga Siddhi, nor I want Yoga Siddhis, Ashta Yoga Siddhis. And neither I want Apunar Bhava, neither I want the liberation. And I don't want that. What do I want? Samanjasatva virahiya kamshi. I just want the consciousness in which I could always remember you in separation, in viraha, right? So this is the perfected platform. The devotee is always thinking about Krishna in separation from the Lord. So how they come to this position? Only by the association and service to Mahatmas. Another Mahatma who is there on that platform. So that's why it's mentioned here. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision, but it's the highest goal, the destination of Mahatmas. So Mahatma received transcendental messages from realized devotees and thus gradually developed devotion service Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service, they no longer desire elevation to the material planets. So this can only happen when somebody gets this message from the devotee who is having that consciousness, Krishna consciousness of Annavil, Ashwanyam, Gyan, Karmaryam, Nukorena, Krishna, Nusin. So let's go to text 16. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mamupete tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Translation. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. But Hare Krishna, please read. Yes.
Purport. All kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hatha, etc. eventually have to attain devotional perfection in Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of the demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, Indraloka fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka. But if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Baladev Vidyabhushan, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, quotes this verse, Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte pratisanchare parasyante kratatmanah pravisanti param padam. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires. Krishna.
Yes. So we see there is a different kind of elevation to the spiritual abode is mentioned here. So as we see, one is Panchagni Vidya. Somebody can go to Brahmaloka by Panchagni Vidya, recommended in Chandogya Upanishad. But if he does not cultivate Krishna consciousness on Brahmaloka, then he has to again come back down to the earth. And there are some people, they continue to perform Krishna consciousness in Brahmaloka. Not some people, there are many people as such. Yet they have to stay till Brahma's death, till Brahma's death. When Brahma will die, then with Brahmaji, they will return home back to Earth, not otherwise. That's why it's mentioned in Baladev Vidyabhushan. So this is called Kram Mukti. Kram Mukti. Brahmana sahate sarve, Brahma ke saath sab log, samprapte pratisanchare, when they will attain, they will leave their bodies, pratisanchare. Parasya ante kritatmana. They have become fully Krishna conscious. Parasya ante. Prabhishanti Parampam. And in this way they will go to spiritual universe. But here, Lord is telling that why to wait so much? Why to wait so much? Just surrender unto me now in this very lifetime, where you are on the Bhuloka, and in next lifetime you can return back to God. Why to wait till the whole Brahmanda will get annihilated and then to return back with Brahmaji, going to first to Satyaloka, then after that one can directly return home back to God. So Why to wait so much? So then the whole calculation of the Brahma's days, how much long the Brahma's days are, so that is mentioned. But why it's mentioned? Because at least we should understand that why people go to Brahma Loka, and there is still the chance of not becoming Krishna conscious. Even though there is a very nice facilities to become Krishna conscious, then still, why to wait so much? Why to wait so many years? It's like one day of Brahmavali is so huge of our years. So only thing is that just a small little, like our life, we see our life is just 50 to 60 years. And in that 50 to 60 years, if somebody happens to perform Krishna consciousness very keenly, very sincerely, trying to cultivate Krishna consciousness, thinking Krishna or Krishna always, in whatever circumstances it may be. Of course, that is helped by regularly chanting Hare Krishna mantra, reading Srila Prabhupada books regularly, then doing all the prescribed activities given by acharyas. So it's very, very easy. So text 17. Sahasra yuga paryantam haryat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vidojana. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport.
The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of cosmical days. A day of Brahma and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 years, 1,000 cycles of 4 yuga or ages. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, and being practically no ignorance, and vice versa. And the Yuga lasts 70,28,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and the yoga lasts 12,96,000 years. In the Dwapar Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, and increasing the and this yuga lasts 64,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experienced over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, religion, and vice. The true virtue being practically non-existent, and this yuga has 4,32,000 years in Kali Yuga, vice increasing to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Personality himself appears as the Kalki avatar, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprises one day of Brahma, and the same number comprises one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years of by Earth calculation total to 311 trillion and 40 billion Earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lighting flash. In the spatial ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bulbs in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of the universe. Therefore, at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planets, Brahma Loka, which is the highest planet in the material universe, and which survives at the heavenly planets, the upper strata of the planetary system. That is the due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the laws.
Thank you so much, Anupam Srinitha too. So we understand now this time cycle. Anybody have any issue in understanding this? This how this whole calculation has taken place? I don't think so. It's very easy. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, how many years of them, their tenures are given here. Kali Yuga 4,32,000. Then just 10 times of, sorry, it's just double of it, if you'll say, then it will become Dwapar Yuga. Just double of Kali Yuga is Dwapar. Just triple of Kali Yuga is Treta. And this quadruple of Kali Yuga is Satya Yuga. So if you add this all four yugas, then it makes one Divya Yuga. So that makes 43 lakhs 20,000 years. One Divya Yuga is 43 lakh 20,000 years. And like this 43 lakh 20,000 years, if you rotate it 1,000 times, then that will become just 12 hours of Brahmaji. Means ahar. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano vidhu. Sahasra means 1,000 times. Yuga means that Divya Yuga. Divya Yuga constitutes of Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. That is ahar. Ahar means day. Who's Brahmano or Brahmaji? That is not Vidhu. Ratri Yogas are Shantam. As soon as the night comes, that also constitutes of this much amount of years only. Te ho Ratri Vidhojan. Ratri Yogas are Shantam. Similarly, ending after 1,000 years. The night also. So like this, we see the whole lifetime Brahma makes of 311 trillion 40 billion years. And of that Brahma's life, just 50% has passed. Brahma is just 50 years old. 100, if you see, then it is around 150, sorry, 155 or some years, trillion and 20 billion years, Earth years. So it's so humongous amount of time in the comparison of earthly time scale, right? And Srimad Bhagavatam tells us how elevated sannyasis they reach to Satyaloka. If somebody has taken a strong sannyasi, a powerful sannyasi, then he will attain Satyaloka. Just a sannyas, just a sannyas, he will give him that position. And Vanaprastha, they attain lower planet, lower than the Satyaloka. Maharloka, that's all. Brahmacharis, if they are very nice brahmachari, they may attain Tapaloka and such planets. As mentioned in the Srinagartam at one place. So, but for the devotees, it's not required to go through this way. So, becoming perfectly Krishna conscious. If whole life we are Krishna conscious, then of course at the time of death we'll remember Krishna. It is very, very automatic. And then you or anybody else, just the next moment he will find himself emerging in Golok Vrindavan in front of Krishna, and Krishna will come and embrace us, and he will cry with us, and we will also cry with Krishna. And Krishna will be telling us, just like he tells to Gokumaras, I was waiting for you so long. Why did you make so late to come? Why did you make so late? So, of course, this whole universe of 311 trillion 40 billion years is just one nimish of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. Krishna thus flaps his eyelids and whole universe is created and destroyed. And Mahavishnu just exhales and inhales. Universes are created and destroyed. But people, those who are in this material world, are suffering in forgetfulness of Krishna and his relationship. It's really very like it's a real, right? It's a real suffering we see here. So why to take real suffering? Why not to become Krishna conscious? That's what Lord is preaching here. Text 18. So अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्ति हरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके. So what happens when the night comes? At the beginning of the Brahma's day, all living entities becomes manifest from the unmanifest state. And thereafter, when the night falls, they emerge into unmanifest again. So here, the days and night, there's annihilation and creation. And in days what happens? The creation takes place, and in night, annihilation takes place. So which type of annihilation and dissolution is this? This is partial annihilation, we say. This is annihilation of just the planetary systems which are below Maharloka. So even Maharloka also get destroyed. And the end of Brahma's day, if you read in Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, the annihilation is described. There are four kinds of annihilation that takes place. So this is called Namittik Pralaya, in which this Anantashesh from the down lower plantation from Patala, he just gives such a heavy, burning, fiery blow that all the lokas from Patal Lok till Bhuvar Swar, all these lokas, they simply get burned helplessly. Helplessly, they get burned, incinerated. Right? And the fire is so heavy that even Maharloka people also they vacate their Maharloka because the heat comes even to Maharloka, and they go and take shelter in Satyaloka. Upaloka and Satyaloka. So only two those lokas are intact, but rest of them everybody just burns and then merges into this navel of Mahavishnu, navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, or else they go into the abdomen of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu to sleep into Avyakta, Avyakta, this Avyakta, unmanifest. They become unmanifest. So Brahmaji sleeps, mean to say, these people also sleep. All the living entities, starting from Maharloka till Patal Loka, everybody they go to bed. Go to bed means they simply sleep in the great slumber in the abdomen of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So like this is going on. Bhutva, bhutva, praliyate. Every day they come up and every night they sleep. Helplessly they get destroyed. Praliyate. Text 19. भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवति हरागमे. Synonyms. Okay, translation. So, Nishant,
Again,
please read.
when Brahma arrives, all living entities come into being. And with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Purport. As intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, they have no longer bodies but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. Then again, they are manifest. They are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. During the day, they become manifest, and at night, they are annihilated again. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in the another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, they are captivated by the spell of the material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thus, they transfer themselves even in this life to spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, but not being subject to such reports. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes. So the lesson is very clear, no? Srila Prabhupada is telling. This is the lesson from all this number of sets of sloka that we discussed. First, the transfer themselves in this life. Not to wait for the life in Satya Yuga or in Satya Loka. So we are not planning to go to Satya Loka to return to Vaikuntha with Brahmaji, Brahma Desa Sarve. So in this very life, one can chant the holy name nicely and become Krishna conscious and return home back to body. Text 20. So the description of spiritual world is going to take place now. So Lord is going to describe spiritual world from text 17 till here, this particular sloka is how this material world is described. So how it is so horrible, uh, so many different planetary systems, and how the whole planetary systems are getting annihilated every kalpa. And at the end of Brahma's life, even Brahma also gets annihilated. Everybody gets annihilated. Their bodies are merged, and bodies and even the if they are pure devotees, then return home back to God. Or else, if they are not pure devotees, they have some material desires to fulfill. Like now, suppose now Brahma's life gets over. Suppose now, so whoever have whatever material desire, so with that material desire, he will just immediately get annihilated. His body will be burned or smashed, and all the souls will take shelter of Mahavishnu's abdomen, and we are going to sleep for again at least 311 trillion 40 billion years. And then when next exhalation of Mahavishnu is going to take place, then all the souls will come out, and again the creation will take place, Sarga, Visharga, and Brahmaji will appear, then whole everything, whole drama, whole show will go, and we will resume from where we stopped. What we had the desire 311 trillion years before, we will made remember by the Lord that you had this desire, oh Jiva. You remember? We don't remember, but Lord will make all the Purva Sanskar Sanskrita. So whatever is Purva Sanskar, Lord will make our whole plan accordingly, and we will seek for that desire to be fulfilled into next creation. And in this way, we are just going on life after life. So that's what, by understanding this sloka is from Bhagavad Gita, we should have very intense desire to become Krishna conscious and to have the desire to return home back to God. It is not bad, it's okay. Yet, to become Krishna conscious is the prerogative to return. That's very, very clear in this particular chapter we saw. Lord is telling the Ant Kalecha Mameva Smarana Muktva Kalita. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has established International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Right? It means devotees are being trained to become Krishna conscious. Whole training, whole education is just for that. So how devotees could become Krishna conscious? They could think about Krishna in every situations of their life, and then they are made eligible whatever time they leave their body. Of course, the body we have got to leave one day, and that day could any day. So if you remember Krishna always, then you are sure to return home actually. So now this from 17 till 19 sloka, 17, 18, 19, 3 sloka describes how horrible and how miserable this material world where this bhutva bhutta praliyate takes place. Annihilation and repetitive annihilation and creation and annihilation and creation and annihilation. So now Lord is going to describe our spiritual world, how the spiritual world situated from text 20, 21, 22, three slokas, three sloka for material world, three sloka for the spiritual world. So let's go. Text 20. Parastasvastu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. Translation. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. So small purport. Kunjavan Murari Prabhu.
Yes, bro. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and the nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the seventh chapter.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So Krishna's spiritual energy is mentioned here. So another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and transcendental to manifested matter. And this is spiritual world being talked about here. Krishna is talking in spiritual. A similar thing is discussed in seventh chapter, if you remember, but that is in relation with jivas. We are all jivas, and we are actually not supposed to, destroy. We are not supposed to get created. We are beyond with destruction and creation. This bhutva bhutva pralaya. We are eternal spirit souls, but some or other we are experiencing the creation and annihilation because we have accepted, we've taken shelter of this material world, and we are trying to enjoy the material world. Even sometimes coming in the fold of Krishna consciousness, a tendency to enjoy is there more because we had been there in this material for trillions of lifetimes, and we have been cultivating this enjoying tendencies for trillions of lifetimes. So that needs to be changed and had to be brought back again to Krishna. So reorienting the angle of our destination. So if enjoying mentality is there, then we stay here. But if the serving attitude comes for the pleasure of Krishna, then we immediately uh, start moving toward superior nature of the Lord, which is called Vaikuntha. Because we are of the superior nature, in fact, right? We are Sachidananda, and spiritual world is also Sachidananda. We are also part of Sarup Sakti of the Lord, and Holy Spiritual world is Sarup Sakti of the Lord. And only Sarup Sakti can help us to reach back again to Sarup Sakti. That is Bhagavad Bhakti, that is being described here in that chapter as well as ninth chapter. So text 21. Vyakto akshara iti yuktas tam mahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Avyaktaha aksharaha. Avyakta means unmanifested. Unmanifested means it is not manifested by our material senses. So aksharaha, it is infallible. It never falls down. Iti yuktaha tam ahu. What that is called? Paramam gatim, the supreme ultimate destination. And reaching there, na prapya, yam prapya, non nivartante. One doesn't come back again. Tad dhama paramama. That is Supreme Lord's own dham. Om paramam dham. Translation: that which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, unmanifest and avyaktam aksharam. That which is known as the supreme destination. That place from which having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Purport. Purport.
The supreme abode of personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dham, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees which are called desire trees that supply any time upon demand
And then there are cows known as Surabhi cows, which supply limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, and he is called Govind, primal Lord, the primal Lord of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Karnatam.
Guanantam.
Transcendental form, Karantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body is like the color of clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, a peacock feather in his hair. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita, Vedic literatures, Katha Upanishad 1.3.11 state that there is nothing superior to the abode of Supreme Lord, of the Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. Purusan na param kinchat sa kastha parama gati. When one attains to it, he never returns to this material world. Krishna, supreme abode, and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of the supreme abode Goloka Vrindavan, located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported that on a particular tract of land known as Vrindavan, comprising about 168 square miles in the district of Mathura, India.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So here the description of Golok Vrindavan is given out of great kindness of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is telling that this description of Golok Vrindavan, if you like to find, vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita describes about this Golok Vrindavan particularly. Of course, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a chapter in Canto 4, description of Kingdom of God. So there also mentioned, but that is description of Vaikuntha. But Goloka Vrindavan specifically where it is described, you need to go to Brahma Samhita. Very sweet description of Goloka Vrindavan is there, as already mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. And you want to explore more, then you need to read Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto. It's the whole description of Golok Vrindavan, that Lord enacted his pastimes, coming on this planet, seemingly on this planet. But whenever Lord comes, he comes along with his dham also. So Sriya Dhama Sahavatari. So whenever Lord comes, he appears with his own dham and his own associates, or internal associates. So when he comes, then he comes to Gokul Vrindavan in UP, Mathura, southeast of Delhi. The replica of that Supreme Golok Vrindavan, located in the spiritual sky. And whenever Gaurang Mahaprabhu comes, he also appears in Sridham Mayapur Navdeep. So these are all the replica places of Golok Vrindavan. Sridham Navdeep, Sridham Mayapur, Navdeep and Vrindavan are not different actually. Seemingly here we see it's like located here, that's located there. But there is no such physical location, no any meaning of physical location in the spiritual world. So Navadip and Braj, there is no difference at all. They are both the same places. Here we see in the material world is located some miles away, but actually there is no difference. So comprising 160 square miles, 84 crores miles in the district of Mathura in India. Text 22. Purushah saparah partha bhaktya labhyastvanannaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading, and everything is situated within him. Purusha, Saha, Paraha is Parapurush. Partha, O Partha, Bhaktya Labhya, that person, Supreme Personality Godhead, is achievable by bhakti only. But निश्चित रूप से through Ananyaya Bhakti, unallowed devotion service, undeviating devotion service. Because he is right there in the heart of living entities. Yasya antasthani bhutani yena sarvam vidam tata. He is pervaded everywhere, wherever we can see. But what?
Hare Krishna.
Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this person, supreme abode, as Ananda Chinmaya Ras, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss, all the varietedness manifests there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. The varietedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself. For the manifestation, there is a totally of the spiritual energy as explained in chapter 7 as far as this material world is concerned. Although the Lord is always in his supreme abode, he is nonetheless all pervading by his material energy. So by his spiritual and material energy, he is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universe. Yasyantah sthani means that everything is sustained within him, within either his spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all pervading by these two energies. To enter Krishna's supreme abode of the innumerable Vaikuntha planet is possible only by bhakti, devotional service. As clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya, no other process can help one attain that supreme abode. The Vedas, Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.21 also describe the supreme abode and the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko Vashi Sarvaga Krishna. In that abode, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead, whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity. And although situated there as one, he has explained himself into millions and millions of Lenvi expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord who presides over the Vaikuntha planets are four-armed, and they are known by a variety of names: Purushotama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesh, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodar, Janardhan, Narayan, Vaman, Padmanabh, etc. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 also confirms that although the Lord is always in the supreme abode, Goloka Vrindavan, he is all pervading so that everything is going on nicely. Goloka eva niva satya kilatma bhutah, as stated in the Vedas, Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.8. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Swabhavaki Jnana Balakriya cha. His energies are so expensive that they systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw, although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, chanting is being very beautifully with many examples. Srila Prabhupada is telling that how Lord is there in Vaikuntha at the same time here in this material world. Sarvagaha Krishna, Eko Vashi Sarvagaha Krishna. He is the one Krishna. He is there in his own abode, Golok Vrindavan, according to Gopal Tapani Krishna. But he is Sarvagaha. He is also present everywhere. So he is present not only in Golok Vrindavan, he expands himself in Mathura, in Dwarka, then he expands himself in Ayodhya, then he expands himself to unlimited Vaikuntha and Narayana incarnation, Narayana manifestations. Some with Narayana manifestations and names here. Purushottam, Trikram, Kesha, Madhava, Niruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarsan, Pradumna, like this. And in this way, Lord has expanded in the material also, as Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And not only that, he comes as Yuga Avatar, every Yuga, in every universe. Every Yuga, Lord is coming. Not only once, even every Yuga, he comes twice and thrice. Then here he comes every Manvantara. So, Manvantara avatars. And of course, as Purusha Avatara, he is pervaded throughout the whole, every atom, yes. Yes, he has pervaded himself. Okay, so Lord is far, far away, but still he is very, very close to us. So this is the conclusion from Samhita also tells. Anybody can tell what is the sloka of Brahma Samhita which enunciate this particular theology? That Lord is in Golok Vrindavan, still he is there. Which sloka is that?
गोलोक एव निज धाम ने तलचितस्य.
You tried, but you missed the point. Okay. If you, I think you will chat GPT, then you may get it, but you may be wrong also. Okay. So don't try that. So the sloka is 5.37, right there mentioned. Brahma Samhita 5.37. Goloke eva nivashati akhilatma bhuto. Goloke eva nivashati. Lord is staying in Goloka. Certainly he is staying in Goloka. But at the same time, akhilatma bhuto is there with every bhuta, every movable and immovable, every sajiva or nirjiva, with every atom, and even between the atoms also is there, with every soul, and also inside the soul also is there. He is Atma of all the Atmas. So nothing exists which is not pervaded by the Lord as Paramatma. Okay, text 23. So from here, the next section going to start. Do you have any question here of till now? No. Okay, let's go ahead. So this from text 23 till text 28, there are total 6 slokas, right? 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. The supremacy of devotion is mentioned here. The exaltedness of devotion service is mentioned here. Okay. Are you able to see this, bro?
Yes, bro, it's visual.
यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ. Translation. O best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world the yogi does or does not come back. So, okay, purport.
Hare Krishna. The unalloyed devotion of the Supreme Lord who are totally surrendered soul do not care when they leave their bodies or by what method. They leave everything in Krishna's hand and so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are unalloyed devotees are who depends instead of such methods of spiritual realization as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga, must leave the body at a suitable time in order to be sure whether or not they will return to the world of birth and death. In the yogi is perfect. He can select the time and the situation of the leaving this material world. But He is not so expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable time as which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan, the Sanskrit word kala used herein refer to presiding deity of time.
Okay, thank you so much, bro. So there are different time sets of time in which if the yogis they will leave the body and that they leave the body intentionally. They select the time and then they leave the body. That's like if you remember Vishnu Pitama also had this power to leave the body at a particular time and he manipulated everything. He waited for the whole sun to come from Dakshinayana to Uttarayan. So these things are going to be described now. With the Kalbalya Sanskrit word Kala used here refers to the presiding deity of time. So time is also a presiding deity. So we'll see now. Text 24. Agni Jyotirah Shuklaha Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tattva Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vidojana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of fiery God. Influence of fiery God. So this is the presiding deity of the time. In the light, at the auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north.
But when firelight, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and if by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for a pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment by accident or arrangement.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you so much, bro. So for the pure devotee, there is no such consideration. They may leave at any time. Like we see the many, our Vaishnavas, disappearance days are, in Dakshinayana. So what do we confer that they will return home back to India? Not, of course. They return home back to India. So it doesn't matter. In fact, great acharyas just to show that returning to the kingdom of God by the pure devotees are not depend upon physical formations, time, place, and circumstances of this material world. Like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, when he was about to leave the body, he understand that I am going to leave the body. I am going to leave the body. So intentionally he left Jagannath Puri and he came to Calcutta, which in fact his own spiritual master, Srila Gauri Kishore Dasaraji Maharaj has told that not to go to Calcutta, this is Maya Dham, Maya Nagri, Calcutta. But the Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj came intentionally to Maya Nagri, Calcutta to leave the body there. Why? To show that pure devotee can leave the body at any time, at any place. It does not matter at all. He will certainly return home back to God. Text 25. Yet for those who are not pure devotees, those who are yogis and Gyan yogis and all that. For them, these all technical things are required. So in the light time, in the auspicious moment of the day, if they should leave the body in the daytime, the waxing moon, paksha, there are 1 month, two pakshas. So Shukla Paksha, and in the Uttarayana, when influence of fiery god is more. In this way they go. Text 25. धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनम् तत्र चान्द्रं संज्योतिर्योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet but again come back. They reaches the moon planet again come back. Purport.
Hare
I
Krishna.
request all the devotees to kindly keep their videos on. I see devotees are slowly, keeping the video on.
But in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni mentioned that those who are expert in the fruitive activities and sacrificial method on the earth attend to the moon at that. Those elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy the life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by their gross senses.
Yeah. So they go to the higher planets, but they will return. Of course, anybody who is going to higher planets, they will return. And how they will return, we have discussed in the last session, right? How they become yagyas, a part of yagya, and they again return back to earth. Text 26. Shukla Krishne gati yete jagata sasvate mate ekaya yati anavrittim anaya vartate punaha. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. One in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns.
The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan from the Chandogya Upanishad 5.10 and 3 to 5. Those who are fruitive, laborers, and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Keep up your videos on, bros. Yes, so those who go in passes in the night time, in the dark fortnight, which Paksha, Krishna Paksha, and in the Dakshinayana. So they go to heavenly planets, they may go and they can return. Return not home, return back to earth. Right? So this, don't think that the Prabhuji, so I will also live in that way, so I will also go to heaven. No, it's not like that. It doesn't hold for devotees. Like, you may even go to Narakloka also. We may go to Narakloka also if you're not Krishna conscious. So could be possible for only for those who are yogis. This holds only for the yogis, not for not those are not yogis. Of course, for the devotees, of course, we are not going to hell. But sometimes if somebody breaks the regulatory principle so much so that Yamaraj has to come or he has to send like Ajami. So there is always risk, whatever time. So here it's mentioned that they will go to moon planet. So and they will come back again here. But those are not yogis means we are supposed to be bhakti yogi, right? Bhakti yogi means first of all adharma is not there in the definition of yogi only, actually. Whether he is dhyan yogi, whether he is jnana yogi, whether he is astang yogi, or is bhakti yogi, there is no place of adharmic activity which is not mentioned in the Vedas. There is no scope of adharmic activities in any yogi. Then comes bhakta, then comes bhagavata, then comes returning home back to body. We may not say, Prabhu ji, क्या है हम तो भगवान का नाम जप करते हैं and everything is fine for us. And sometimes I also do some non-Vedic activities on mobile phones. So it doesn't matter when I will leave the body, I can return home back to body. It's not like that. Yeah. So first we have to qualify ourselves to yogi. Yogi means there is no dharma, which is not mentioned in Vedas. Then comes parodharma. Then further comes parodharma. Then only we can qualify ourselves. Here, Lord is not telling about going to hell, because He's telling about yogis, right? He's telling about different types of yogis. So then, among them, Bhakti yogi are the greatest. Now going to be concluded by the Lord Himself. Text 27. नैते श्रुति पार्थ जनान योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योग युक्तो भवार्जुन. Translation: although the devotee knows these two paths, bhaktas, they know these two paths, Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. So this is important. Never bewildered. Huh? Never bewildered, not for, okay, when I leave the body, I am very fearful, Prabhu, what to do, what not to do. But also not also being bewildered from doing adharmic activities, which will get us to the hell. So all the devotees know these two paths, Arjuna. They are never bewildered, therefore we always fixed in devotion. Purport.
Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not surrender, should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that that concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always obtained in his service, and this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word Yoga Yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Shri Rupa Goswami advises Anasaktasya Visaya Netharam Upayanditaha. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, bro. So, Yoga Yukta. Yoga Yukta Bhava. Sarvesu Kalesu. Yoga Yukta Bhava. Engage in Krishna consciousness. Don't get bewildered. So that's what for the devotee we need to do. Always remain in Krishna conscious. So I was hearing one lecture from Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj day before yesterday. So I was telling that whatever activities we do perform, sometimes we may perform activities which are not directly in Avida Bhakti, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. We may have to go for job, we may have to do some maybe mundane studies, but still how to make it to Bhakti. So he was telling the three types of devotion service. One type of devotion service is called Aropa Siddha Bhakti. Means the activities what you are performing is not at all devotion service, but the fruit of those activities and the endeavor done in that activity we are offering to Krishna. And remembering Krishna. Remembering Krishna, we are offering it. So that also takes the quality of devotion service because we thought of Krishna into that. Like suppose somebody is working in a company, raising children, and these are all actually not devotional service. But because it is done for Krishna, it is done in consciousness with Krishna. This also could be termed to be devotional service, but with devotional service, attributed devotional service. Then second and the second level is, this is the lowest level. Somebody does pure devotional service, and they have to do such services which is not directly Navida Bhakti. And second is called Sangha Siddha Bhakti, in which Sangha Siddha Bhakti, in which there are many activities which is actually not Navida Bhakti, which is, but we have to perform it, just like rising early in the morning. No, rising early in the morning has nothing to do with devotional service. Sleeping in the night time, going to bed early, rising early is not devotional service. Getting up early morning, taking bath, washing teeth is not devotional service. But because it is done in connection with Krishna, Sangha, it is done for service of Krishna. So it becomes also devotional service. That also becomes devotional service. And the highest one is called Sarupa Siddha Bhakti, in which devotees are involved into direct devotion service of Navida Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. And while performing the devotion services, he's conscious of Krishna. He is thinking about Krishna. So this devotional service means the sarupa of bhakti is that he's doing seva to the Lord, like chanting the holy name. He's serving to the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. And what is the outcome of such service, Sarupa Siddha Bhakti, is that one gets more and more nourished and inspired by performing devotional service, Shravanam Kirtan. But when somebody does like other activities, and he does like other bhakti, like we discussed, Arup Siddha and Sangha Siddha, those devotional service will not give nourishment to the devotional service. So devotees has to be always aware that whatever activities we are doing other than Navida devotion, Navida Bhakti, it as much that could be made to Bhakti in the degree of as much we are doing Sarup Siddha Bhakti. You're getting the point. So if somebody has done nice chanting of the holy name, he has heard Srimad Bhagavatam, he has read Srila Prabhupada books every day, then these other activities could also made it to be devotion service because of aropit, we are doing it for Krishna. But because consciousness of Krishna is there while doing those activities, even though those activities are not devotion service. But if Sarup Siddha Bhakti is only not there, and okay, Prabhu, I am doing it for Krishna, but really anybody remembers Krishna. So that's on yukta. So one has to become yukta. That depends upon how much one is able to engage himself more and more in consciousness with Krishna, which is Navida Bhakti, so Siddha Bhakti. So yeah. So one has to become Krishna conscious. That's what it means. Whatever activity we do. And of course, as mentioned, as given by our acharyas, so this Sarup Siddha Bhakti, very, very powerful Navida Bhakti, specifically in morning time, rising early, we do chanting the holy name, going to Mangalarti, paying obeisances to the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reading some Prabhupada books. Very, very powerful process by which one can be fully Krishna conscious if somebody practices it whole life. Whether he is a brahmachari, grihastha, sannyasi, vanprastha. If anybody performs the principle of devotion service chalked out by Srila Prabhupada, morning program, and then after doing whole day's activities in consciousness of Krishna, either it is Sangha Siddha or the Arop Siddha. So one can make it to happen that he can remain Krishna conscious whole day. There is a chance of it. Otherwise, it's difficult. Otherwise, very, very difficult. One will not be able to make himself Krishna conscious throughout the whole day. And in this way, he'll be a big accident. His life will be a big accident not able to remember Krishna at the end of his life. So text 28. Text 20.
I have a question on this thing.
Text, okay, fine. So we have 7 more minutes. Could we discuss just completing one last sloka there, if you don't mind? Yeah. Yeah. So keep the question, bro. Let us complete this chapter. Then we can easily and with comfort we can discuss the questions. Text 20 is Vedeshu Yaggeshu Tapassu Chaiva Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam Atteti Tat Sarvamidam Viditva Yogi Param Sthan Upayati Chadyam. Translation: a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Somebody may think that, oh, what about other processes benefits? Whether I will get by performing devotional service? Whereas I know you'll get everything by performing devotional service. The benefits of doing charity, sacrifices, austerity, jnana, philosophical speculation, सबका एक जगह मिल जाए. That's like we have seen in second chapter also. The the purpose what a pond, what a well or a tap will fulfill, all the purpose will fulfill by a river and more. So devotional service is like that. Bhakti is supremely powerful. It can give benefit of all other processes and more, what any other process cannot give. But this, okay, someone can read. I think, Madhav Prabhu can read. Madhav Vallabh.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the student for the food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he becomes a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of the character. After this training, the brahmachari is allowed to enter into household life and marry. When he is a householder, he has to perform many sacrifices so that he may achieve further enlightenment. He must also give charity according to the country, time, and candidate, discriminating among charity in goodness, and in passion and in ignorance, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Then, after retiring from household life, upon accepting the order of Vanaprastha, he undergoes severe penances, living in forests, dressing with the tree bark, not shaving, etc. But by carrying out the orders of the brahmacharya, householder life, vanaprastha, and finally sannyasa, one becomes elevated to the perfectional stage of life. Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or in the Vaikuntha planet or Krishna Loka. This is the path outlined by Vedic literature. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals for the different orders of life. The words idam viditva indicates that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in the association with the devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like covering for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of the devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. One who has little faith in the Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by the devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from the devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfection stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golaka Vrindavana, where the devotees becomes eternally happy. Thus, end the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, the summary of all that chapter is given here. So, Lord is telling that whatever benefit you are going to get from any other process, everything you'll get by performance of devotional service. And in this way, he reaches the supreme eternal abode by becoming perfectly Krishna conscious. And what is most important in that is association of pure devotees. And reading Bhagavad Gita and studying Bhagavad Gita in association of pure devotees, whose only goal of life is to serve and please Krishna. And in this way, this faith increases. And this particular whole section is nothing but Srila Prabhupada is pointing out very beautiful sloka in 3rd canto. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hit karna rashayana katha. So just by hearing from the pure devotees, the talks of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam becomes very much pleasurable to ear and heart. Tad joshana asu apavarga vartamani shraddha ratim bhakti ranukarmishrati. By hearing from the pure devotees, Krishna consciousness becomes very much relishable, and one starts thinking about Krishna, and one becomes more and more Krishna conscious. And in this way, Shraddha slowly matures into Bhava, that's called Rati, and Rati matures into Prema. In Rati, he is always remembering Krishna. He can never forget Krishna in Rati. So everything happens by reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, relishing the teachings, not teachings, rather the Nam Rup Gundlila of the Lord, Krishna's activity, form, pastimes, names, and other features. So in association of pure devotees, so he will attain to Prema eventually. Shraddha Rati Bhakti Anukramishati. And he has attained Prema means he has perfected his life. Highest perfection is life enables the devotee to transfer to Krishna, the God in the spiritual sky. Golok Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. Hare Krishna. So thus we completed, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam and studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry, not Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So just 2.5 hours of Bhagavatam studies was over from 7 to 9:30. So Bhagavatam is coming out to word. Sorry for that. So maybe tomorrow we'll start Krishna verses 9th chapter. So here we'll open for Any discussion, any question or session if you have anything to do? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Yes, please.
Bro, as we have discussed the three type of devotional service, the Sharup Siddha, which is like chanting, hearing, and worshipping, that is also covered in the Navida Bhakti. And you have also discussed about Sangha Siddha and Aropa Siddha. So, for suppose Sangha Siddha and Aropa Siddha, they are just the category, or they have levels also. The Sangha Siddha and Aropa Siddha is below the Sharup Siddha.
Yeah,
Because in
Swarup
Sangha
Siddha is higher. Swarup Siddha is higher, Sang Siddha is lower, and Arup Siddha is even more lower. Arup
Mhm.
Siddha Bhakti
But bro,
means
time devotees like in the temple says the cooking, worshipping, and the cleaning, all the thing activities. These are also similar to the like doing worship, all these things. So they are not different between the cooking for the Krishna, worshipping, or cleaning for the Krishna.
for the
So,
Krishna. When it comes for the
mm,
Krishna, that what
mm,
it makes bhakti. That what it makes qualified to become bhakti. But somebody
mm,
cooking, suppose somebody, very many people they cook,
mm,
but as much consciousness invested to connect the process of cooking with Krishna, that much only that is becoming bhakti in that much degree only.
mm,
And as much it is not connected with Krishna, in that much degree one cannot make it to bhakti. But for Shravanam and Kirtanam, is like even though you are not thinking about Krishna, but still it creates nourishment of devotional service. Shravanam Kirtanam, like it's directly, no, indirectly in connection with Krishna Sarup Shakti. So when
mm,
somebody does chanting of the holy name for pleasure of Krishna, then he performs archan for the pleasure of Krishna, with the mood of I am going to please Krishna by these activities. So one very easily he actually gets connected with Sarupa Shakti, the Lord. But
mm.
in other sense, in other like another activities which are not Navida
Cooking
Bhakti,
and
then he that
mm,
becomes Bhakti in as much degree as much one is able to connect with Krishna, and having the attribute of doing that for the sake of Krishna. Other many people they cook, but uh, they may cook for their own self. Like we see here, Prabhuji today will make pizza, uh, and we'll have pizza prasadam. But what is the intention of making pizza is not Krishna, is for own belly and own tongue. So in as much it is not for Krishna, it is for our own tongue. It's not bhakti.
mm,
So bhakti means Sarupa Siddha Bhakti, which directly connects Jiva with Sarup Shakti of the Lord. And bhakti itself is Sarup Shakti, which is nothing to do with this material world. And because it is connected with Krishna, so then it becomes bhakti also. Takes the nature of Sarup Shakti Bhakti. Isn't it, bro?
yes, bro. But one question arises like some may think like if I am cooking and doing all these things. So it is coming under around the like Sangha Siddha, not coming around the Sharup Siddha. So he may think that, oh, I am doing one own service. So better to do the worship, hearing and chanting. This is one level high that is in the directly in the Sharup Siddha.
If somebody can do it, very nice, but he should not go and sleep on the pretext of chanting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody can do chanting the holy name, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and everything will done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything will done. Cooking, everything. He will himself feel like, oh Lord, today I want to serve you, cooking such a beautiful sweet rice, and I will offer to the Lord. And while doing cooking, he will always thinking about Krishna. And he may put some kirtan in the background and he's thinking about Krishna, right? So it is all about thinking about Krishna, doing whatever activity we are doing. So are we thinking about Krishna? So when we are doing, then it's well and good. Even doing Swarup Siddha Bhakti, there are so much of obstruction mentioned by Srila Bhakti Siddhasli Goswami. Then 81 types of obstructions mentioned. So one may be chanting, doing Swarup Siddha Bhakti seemingly, but he may not be feeling that connectivity with the Lord. He might not be feeling that Galada Srudharya Vadanam Hrudayagira. He may not be feeling. He might be chanting 64 rounds, but only result is coming that he might be getting sore throat. Chanting 64 rounds. Where is Gala Dasrudharya? Vadanam Gadagadur Gira? Where is that? Why? Because while doing performance of devotion service, he was not thinking about Krishna to do it for the pleasure of Krishna. He might be doing for maybe to make impression upon other devotee that I chanted more rounds, or maybe I did for okay, so I become the most greatest chanter of the base or place wherever we are. So this Anya Vilasa, some for so long it's there, is not nourishing the internal Sarup Shakti, of the Jiva. It's not, if it's not for the pleasure of the Lord, then he's actually not getting that effects of performance of devotion service in that much degree. Even though he's somebody doing Sarup Siddha Bhakti, there are Vyavdhans and maybe almost all of us, either we are in Tamoguna, in Rajoguna, maybe somebody in Sattoguna. So because of this, we are having different types of desires. So even the performance of devotional service we do, but we do for our own benefit, right? And we have preached also from beginning of Krishna consciousness. So it will benefit you, Prabhu. No, it will benefit in this way. The whole process of devotional service which connects with Saropa Shakti of the Lord is about Krishna, for the pleasure of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. But so long it doesn't come while performing the devotional service, that much obstructions are created. And the full-fledged flow of devotional service, full-fledged flow of devotional service, as Kunti Maharani tells. Twayami ananya vishyamati madhupati asakrit, mati madhupati asakrit, rati uddhata adha gange yoga mudanvati. So that had to happen. One has to practice to perform devotional service, not for any other ulterior motive, but for the pleasure of Krishna.
Okay. So, bro, am I not wrong? Then I can see that like in ISKCON, whatever activity we are doing, like we are doing all three, like Swarupa Siddha, Sangha Siddha, and Aropa Siddha simultaneously by the whole of the day. Is it true now?
Yeah, yeah. We are performing such services. Correct.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंद।